Hello. I thought it would be kind of interesting to do a little run through of my website. I released the alpha last week and I've had about 80 signups, which is pretty exciting for me. I was kind of thinking no one would bother, so having 80 is pretty exciting. If you don't know who I am, I'm Thomas Chapman. I am a landscape architect. I've been working as a landscape architect for about 10 years now, give or take. I'm a self-taught programmer, and on my side job, I run LandArchTools, which is, I guess, a software company. If you can call a one-man band a software company. But I write software for landscape architects because that's what I know. That's what I've been doing for 10 years. And that's what I'm sort of passionate about. So PhytoFiles, as you can see here, it's a social democratic plant database. That's my little tagline. I'm getting so bored of saying that. But basically, what it's trying to do is solve an issue that is prevalent in landscape architecture where we have all of this plant data and knowledge, but a lot of it is locked up in individuals' knowledge and experience. And a lot of that is lost whenever someone moves between offices or goes away for whatever reason. So what this is trying to do is really socialize that plant data. You might think it's another bloody plant database. I'm well aware of that. But it's targeting designers rather than horticulturalists. So a lot of the plant databases take a very authoritarian stance on the plant data, which is, it's good because they are the authority on plant data. But for designers, it's not entirely useful. There's a lot of information that we require that isn't always included. One of them is like the plant width. The material width of plants often gets left out for some reason. I can't quite work out why, but that's often an issue. As well as, the color through the seasons, the flower color and that sort of thing. There's also a lot of information that gets lost that isn't necessarily able to be plugged into a database. There's a lot of just kind of how would you use this plant in this design sort of data that doesn't fit so nicely within a database or isn't included at all. So that's what PhytoFiles is really trying to target. It's trying to capture that lived and learned experience from designers. So I must thank my sister for designing me this extremely cute mascot for PhytoFiles. We've named him Straub, as you can see here. I don't know if that was just laziness on our part for giving him a name, but that's his name. He's the mascot for PhytoFiles, and she's also done my amazing logo as well, and the design of this card, as well as these just amazing diagrams here, explaining the more intricate ideas of the plant database. So one of the things I've spent a lot of time thinking about is addressing these kind of issues of trust in plant data. And so the whole database is really user run. This could be an extremely bad thing if I can't get any users participating, but this is how I set it up. Basically, plant data has a life cycle. So you can publish these plants onto the database. There's a whole form that you can fill in that I've tried to make as least like a form as possible. I'll show that in a bit. But you can publish plants. I'm calling them PhytoFiles, obviously. Sorry, that's the wrong diagram that I'm pointing to. You can publish them. They go into PhytoVote to be voted on. If they get a certain amount of votes, they then go into the main database under PhytoHunt. And then if they get enough dislikes, I think I've set it to twice as many dislikes to likes, then that plant retires, and you'll no longer be able to search for it. It won't be deleted, but it will come up with a warning saying, hey, the community has spoken on this plant. So the idea is that the plant data is always being renewed or refreshed or rejudged as we learn new things, I guess. Later on, I'm working on a whole system of editing that plant data. So you'll be able to basically, if there's a plant you think is otherwise generally okay, you can basically say, oh, this piece of information is probably not that accurate. You can create a sort of, if you've ever done programming, like a pull request, to basically then get the community to review that request to change the data, and then people can vote on that again. And if that change is approved, that edit is made to the plant automatically. So that's kind of exciting and a really weird way to handle a database, but here we are. And the other thing I'm working on at the moment is plant scheduling. So I'm doing a whole lot of work planning out the UI and UX of how making plant mixes will work in this database. It's going to have a whole lot of really cool kind of notifications that just go like, hey, these plants have different sun requirements or soil requirements. Maybe you shouldn't put them all in the same mix. So yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. You'll be able to export all that data, obviously. And I'm looking at creating some interconnects with CAD programs. I've been talking to Chris from LandKit, and I'll be aligning the CSV to his requirements so that you can just export and bring it straight into his parametric program, which is pretty cool. And you'll be able to export to PDF and Excel and CSV and all that kind of good stuff as well. That's coming down the track. At the moment, the website's sort of the core of PhytoFiles. It's taken me about 6 months working after work and weekends to get to this point. This point being basically the core of the application, which is creating plants, voting on plants, the whole search system. So there's rich text search, there's properties, and there's popular search. There's nothing there's nothing being voted into the main database yet. So if you're checking this website out, you'll only be able to find the plants in the vote section. So you can see I worked so hard on this animation. I wonder if I can zoom, yeah. So when you click on this, it goes tick and then zips in. I obsess about really dumb details. The other really dumb detail is when you hover over these cards, it rotates slightly in a random direction. I don't know if you can see that. And there's also a spring animation as well. So I've tried to make that feel as just snappy and as nice as possible, and also a little bit fun. I spend a lot of time on really dumb things, but I think cumulatively this sort of stuff works out to really make it a fun experience. talking about dumb details. This this little speech box is designed so that I can add any text in there and it expands and contracts to the right size. If you've ever done web design, you know that would be slightly difficult with the slightly custom nature of this. Anyway, yeah, so when you create a plant, it comes up with these, it comes into PhytoVote, and then people can click on the vote if they like it, and it gets voted on. You can see there's like these are admin controls, so when you actually look at this website, this might look slightly different. It's just because I'm logged into my admin account. So when you click on a plant, it comes up with the plant. This is cousin it. This has been submitted by my dear friend Hanny. And you can see I've tried to make the plant data as visual as possible. That was the one thing I really tried to stick to design-wise. The issue I really have with horticultural databases is that they're very like Excel. I find a lot of things in the construction industry and like AEC industry very close to looking like Excel. Like no effort has been put to make it look visually appealing. So every property has a icon associated with it. Some icons I still haven't done an icon for, so you can see like some things like the habitat doesn't have an icon for it yet. But I've worked on those for quite a bit. My sister's helped me with those as well, which is really cool. I've been working on the comment system. So it has a full like forum chat system that you can't like your own posts, unfortunately, but you can submit. I am working on users having profiles, public profiles at the moment. That's not been implemented, so these buttons don't go anywhere. I think me and Hanny tested that chat in one of these. Yeah, if you go in here, you can see we've got some test chat going on, which is really fun. So all of this really works. It works in mobile. I've done a huge amount of work just getting this to function really well and look really good in mobile formats as well as any kind of desktop format. Reactive web development or design is very difficult. It's probably harder than anything else I've had to do or learn for this project. So I mentioned earlier, you can submit plants. This is the form for submitting plants. I did a lot of work to make this not feel overly like a form, so it wasn't completely boring to actually use. Like when you add a plant, the symbol kind of drops in with a spring animation into the box. So that's kind of fun. I had a lot of fun, like just designing that. So yeah, I mean, the underlying theme is I've really tried to make this not feel dry, which is always the danger when you're building stuff like this, is that it becomes extremely dry. I've also added these kind of tooltips, well, not tooltips, just info pages. You can see Straub has a pixelated form. I'm a big fan of pixel graphics, so my sister did all these kind of animations with different facial expressions that I could animate on the web page, which I think, you know, moves the project away from being dry. That's always the goal, really. I've implemented collections, so here this kind of doesn't look like much at the moment because there's not many plants in the database, but here you can see all the plants that you've created. You can review them. You will be able to add plants to collections and drag and drop them into your thing. It's getting angry because you can't add unvoted plants into your collections. What else is there? Yeah, I did a lot of effort about these kind of custom pop-ups with Strobe kind of being sassy, which I really love. Yeah, so I think that's basically the core. There's also dark mode, of course. You got to have dark mode. It's 2024. Sorry, this has been like such a just tangent of explaining everything. But yeah, that's the core of PhytoFiles. Right now, I am working on projects, so that'll be this little suitcase guy here. This is where you'll be able to create mixes. Like you'll be able to create a project, and within that project there'll be mixes where you'll be able to mix different plants, obviously. There's going to be way more features as well. You'll be able to export diagrams like flowering and colors in your project, like yeah, you understand what I'm trying to say. If you've ever tried to create a diagram showing how the plants change colors during the seasons, it's a laborious process. PhytoFiles will be able to do that automatically, so that'll be pretty cool. Yeah, and also Phyto Home here. This is just going to be where you sort of land when you log in. Eventually, it'll have a plant of the day, some statistics of like all the plants you've submitted, and also sort of notifications. I need to implement a notification system. So you know if someone's commented on your plant or someone has liked your plant or voted on your plant. Yeah, so, you know, full-fledged social plant database. It's been extremely enjoyable to build. There's probably 1,000 hours of work left to do. And even after that, there's like a lot of ideas I have that I'd love to build on top of it. It's just about finding the time to do it. Yeah, so that's PhytoFiles. I hope I haven't been too rambly. Check it out. Submit plants. I desperately need people to submit plants and test the application and give me feedback. I have a Discord for LandArchTools and PhytoFiles, so that's on the website down here. You can just click that, and if you've got Discord, you can come talk to me, give your opinion about things. Yeah, that's it, really. I'll keep you updated on any new features. But yeah, thanks for listening.